I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Now, there are so many studies that have said that alcohol, when taken in moderation, can be beneficial for fighting ailments like heart disease, cancer, all that kind of stuff. Now, I've always been very skeptical of this kind of research, Although I was never a moderate drinker myself, no matter which way you look at it, even from a young age, I couldn't see the relationship between health and drinking a neurotoxin like alcohol. A poison is a poison, right? The previous research has insisted that moderate drinkers live a longer life than abstainers. Now, for me, the only reason that drinking alcohol in moderation could possibly have any health benefits would be in sort of mitigating some of our other lifestyle choices like eating saturated fat, right? So for a person who's at risk of heart attack through the furring up of the arterial wall causing blockages, alcohol would make a pretty good degreaser, right? It's used as a cleaner after all. So it might be able to melt away some of that built up arterial plaque. Now the problem is, at what cost does that happen, right? Now I've made a lot of videos on the dangers of drinking alcohol, about the amount of people who are killed every single year through drinking alcohol. That figure is about 3.5 million people, right? 3.5 million people. And there's over 200 plus conditions, some of them deadly, that are caused by alcohol consumption. So what is the cost of this degreasing process? Wouldn't it be much better to change lifestyle, to eat better, to avoid the crap that's causing the heart attacks and the plaque buildup in the first place? And the same with all the other so-called health benefits. Now, as I said, much of the previous research is focused on comparing people who drink moderately, very moderately, and those who abstain. Now, new research has uncovered a massive flaw in the data. And many of the people who were included in these original studies should have been excluded. A psychology professor from the University of Victoria in Canada, Tim Stockwell, has reviewed 87 of these previous studies, right? What the previous research was based on, what these previous findings were based on. And he found that when you exclude these people from the data, those who shouldn't have been included in the first place, the findings were actually reversed and showed that no such health benefits from drinking existed. Now, I'm very skeptical about any scientific study on the basis of the benefits of alcohol in the first place. I think that most of these sort of scientific studies are conducted under the auspices, or at the very least with the use of big alcohol's bulging wallets, and is therefore, I think, slightly fraudulent. It's not true anyway. These studies are constructed under conditions that are conducive to a favourite outcome. You can fudge the data, you can fudge the outcomes to sort of manipulate things to, get the outcome that you basically want. And finally, when all the reporting is done, any contradictory findings are going to be left out or lost. Now that's my opinion. I've read enough so-called scientific studies on alcohol, on the benefits of drinking alcohol, to be able to have just cause in these, in what I think, Now most of these previous studies have examined data from about 4 million users and 1/3 of a million deaths, right? So they looked at about 350,000 deaths from alcohol and studied 4 million people who were drinking. Now, they purported to show that anyone who drank 1 or 2 drinks a day were less likely to die than those who didn't drink. They couldn't prove that moderate drinking led to a longer life. They only suggested it as one possible outcome, always saying that moderation may, big may, contribute to a healthier life. Now, Stockwell said, a fundamental question is, who are these moderate drinkers being compared against? And what Stockwell's review reveals is that many of the people who were chosen as part of the abstainers group were abstaining on medical grounds, right? Many of them were giving up because of a health condition that they already had. So some of the people were abstaining because they had already done damage and were told to quit, right? He further argues that The studies should have been done by comparing moderate drinkers with life abstainers, those who had never touched a drop of alcohol. He also said that before he made the corrections, the people who were getting the supposed health benefits were drinking less than one alcoholic drink per week, and that this amount was very unlikely to be the cause of their longevity. Now, the fact is that out of 87 studies that were under review, 13 of them did separate out the lifelong abstainers from the ones who had quit. And these 13 studies found no advantage in the health of those who drank very moderately over those who abstained for their lives, right? Now, Stockwell says that alcohol has played such a central part of many people's lives and is embedded in various occasions and relationships. So there is a lot of interest in this topic. Understanding this question is important as we shape alcohol policy. He ends by saying, my advice, drink for the enjoyment, sure, but don't kid yourself that you're doing it for your health. Now that's been my argument all along. Anyone who likes a drink, who really likes a drink, is not going to moderate, right? At least not to the levels where they are considered healthy, right? But when you start dipping into the data, finding out how this data has been fudged and manipulated, you realize that even the beneficial moderate drinking, it's a joke, right? If you only drink a glass of wine once a week, you're not going to cause yourself any damage, not any serious damage at any rate, right? But it's not going to give you an advantage either, right? You can get an advantage in life by actively pursuing three things: good quality nutrition, the food that you put into your mouth; good quality movement and rest, right? Exercise and getting a good night's sleep, and reducing your stress while looking for your inner happiness. Now that's my recipe, right? Just those three things: having good food, good exercise, good rest, and reducing the stress as much as you can, right? That's the one I'm trying to follow, and I can tell you it tastes really good to me. I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Till next time, onwards and upwards.